Welcome to the Trust Factor Radio, bringing you interviews and insights to unlock the power of the subconscious mind to create authority, credibility, and trust. With your host, the Authority Architect and best-selling author, Neil Howe.
Hello and welcome to the show. This is your host, Neil Howe, and today my special guest is Robert Logan. And Robert helps side hustlers create, launch, and market successful side hustles. And he has a new product coming out called the Side Hustle Creator, and it launches mid-December here. Robert, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Neil. Excited to be here.
And just to get the geography out of the way here, I've got a bit of a Scottish accent, but based in Atlanta. And Robert, you're in Ontario, is that correct?
Yeah, that's right, in Canada.
In Canada. So, all right. Well, let's see what we've got to talk about. The side hustle business is actually booming. This whole gig economy that people are talking about. There's lots of ways that people can make a little bit of extra money. Give us a little bit of a background. How did you get into this part of the industry?
Yeah, so basically I was, I still am, I'm still a side hustler myself. I work for a martial arts academy, and we were struggling to get leads into our martial arts academy. And so basically I went out and I took some courses and learned how to run Facebook ads and work with ClickFunnels. And we were having a lot of success with that. So much so, like, we increased our business, year over year, a couple 100% in the matter of a couple of years. And so then I ended up working with other martial arts academies, helping them with their digital marketing. And it was really super successful. And I actually ended up making $40K on the side my first year, which was, a pretty big addition to my life. Really helped me, do some more things, some traveling, some paying down some debt, and just saw what having a side hustle could do for my life. And I really just kind of thought, wouldn't it be cool to help other people that are kind of in that spot that, you're getting by and you're doing okay, but if you had something else could really make a significant impact on your life. So that's kind of, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's great. 40K is a good income for a lot of people, make a huge difference. Even if that was the only income that they had made, there's a lot of people that don't make that. So there is a lot of money to be made in a side hustle. But describe, what kinds of things you can do as a side hustle, and also, who is it that you are targeting with this kind of work?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's really no end of things that you can do, and really the first person that I'm trying to help, first and foremost, is the person who is kind of stuck in the idea stage. They would like to have a side hustle, and there's many reasons for that. Maybe, they're unhappy in their current job. Maybe they love their job, but they just simply like to make more money. There's all ends of the spectrum, but people often get caught in the idea stage because there's so much information out there, whether it's, doing affiliate marketing, whether it's becoming a digital agency, like I did, there's literally no end. And so it can be overwhelming and confusing to know what the right choice is. And so what I want to help them do is go from that overwhelmed stage to clarity and help them choose the right side hustle for them.
So that is a big choice, because if you look online for, ways to make money, I mean, that's one of the biggest searches online is, how to make money online. But there's the online and the offline as well. There's different things that you can do in and around your community too. How do you determine what is best for somebody?
Yeah, so basically, that's what I've created a process for. And basically what you want to do is you want to take people through a process of, first of all, defining what your goals are. Why do you want to have a side hustle? Because it's going to be very different for somebody who does want to leave their 9-to-5 to somebody who just wants to make an extra $100 spending cash a month. Those goals are very different. And, we take them then through taking a look at their skills that they currently have. I'm a big believer that, if you're going to start a side hustle, it should be based on your skills. I know a lot of people talk about passion, but at the end of the day, you are going to get paid in direct proportion to the value you can provide. And so, I'm a big proponent of taking a look at your skills. And then I take a look at their interests with them, because, if you're not interested in something, you're probably not going to put in the work, especially when the going gets tough. That's something that, as new entrepreneurs, people should be aware of, is the going will get tough at some point. And so your interest is going to help you push through. And then basically, I take them through a process of doing some research. So what types of side hustles can you find that align with your skills and your interests? And from there, we go through a filtering process. And I call it the 3 C's, because I believe that work that makes you happy, and studies have shown this, are based around 3 things: having control over what you do and how you do it, being able to use creativity, and being able to provide some type of contribution. So we filter through those processes. And then once we go through the filters, then it's time to get proof of concept. So can you get paid for this thing, for these ideas that you have? Sometimes that's very easy. You can look and see somebody else is already doing that. Sometimes it's going to take a bit of investigative work. And so I help them with that. And then at the end, it's buckling down and making a choice, which for some people can be the hardest part of the whole thing, right? So we all have these great ideas, but we kind of get stuck at the point when it comes to actually doing the work, and it's a little scary, right? Like, am I going to be successful? So we help push through and get that process started for them.
Well, first of all, the debate over, whether it's a money maker or whether it's a passion, I hear that debate all the time. And obviously, if it's a job, it's a side hustle that you want to make money. That's the purpose of it. But I cannot tell you how many people that I have interviewed that have lived this corporate life, that they've been in a job for so long, they just get completely bored and disenchanted with what they're doing, and they just want to do that passion project that, really that they believe in. But ultimately, there's got to be a balance or some kind of marriage between the two of them, you think?
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't ever like to speak in absolutes, right? Because, I could have somebody come to me and say, hey, Rob, listen, I hear what you're saying about passion, but I do want to work with my passion. And you know what? I have some money that I want to invest into this, and I'm going to hire somebody who can do the things that I don't know how to do. And that's awesome, right? That's totally valid. And the thing is, when it comes to starting a side hustle, the majority of people that are looking to do this, they don't have that big upfront investment. And so if you're looking to jump into something of a passion without any skills, you probably actually got to start with developing some skills before we can get to the hustle part. And so that's where, I try to tell people to look at their interests, because, it might not be a full-blown passion, but if you're interested in it and it can make you money, depending on what your goal is, that might be the smarter route to go.
So who is the majority person that is looking at this? Is it somebody that's, looking for a job? Because there's a lot of people out there right now who have become unemployed, or their work's been cut down, especially, the restaurant workers, that, the restaurants have shut down, and so many other industries that things have been shut down right now. Is it those kinds of people that are looking for that extra job or side hustle to, put a meal on the table? Or is it mostly people that, maybe have a job and just are looking for something else on the side?
Yeah, well, I think if you had have asked me this question, it's interesting, maybe a year ago, it would have been, people that already have a job, right? But I think now, yeah, some people have been forced into this idea of the side gig economy, and realizing that, as safe as our 9-to-5s felt a year ago, they no longer feel that way. And so there's definitely a surge into the marketplace of people who, have decided that they need a side hustle just for the security of their own personal income.
Okay, so take me through the process a little bit. Obviously, there's hundreds of options available to these people, and we all know what that shiny object syndrome is. This sounds like a great idea. I want to do this, and then 2 weeks later, after you've started something up, you get introduced to something else. How do you prevent that from happening, and how do you take them right through the process of, okay, this is what's going to be best for you, and these are the steps that you need to take to actually make it work?
Yeah, so the big thing that I do is when I work one-on-one coaching people, obviously I don't know how to do every side hustle that there is, but what I can do for people is help them through that exact thing that you just talked about, is the shiny object syndrome. We can create a business plan based on, actionable and measurable metrics, so that you go through, you create a plan that has numbers that you're tracking, and then you're reviewing them, and then you're adjusting or scaling depending on the success of those metrics. When it comes to the shiny object syndrome, the reality of that is for many people, the reason that they go through this is procrastination. It's fear of failure. So they're ready to launch. They go through the process. They get a great idea, and then they reach the stage of go time, and it becomes a little bit scary. And then they go on their Facebook and they scroll and they see another new program, and they're like, oh, that one, that's the one. But really, what it is a mindset thing. Is we're making a decision to delay doing what we've already committed to doing, to try something else, because of the fear of actually putting ourselves out there and not knowing whether we're going to have success or not. And so, that's a big part of it, is the mindset piece of it, and helping people understand that, this is business. You're not guaranteed success, but we're going to make the best plan possible. And then we're going to go out and execute that plan, and we're going to get a result. And then we're going to look at that result, and we're going to move forward from there.
So speaking of results are extremely important, as far as one, putting money in your pocket, but two, the motivation to continue. How are you able to, establish those parameters and help people get results as quick as possible?
Yeah. So basically with the process, we determine the side hustle, and this is something that you can do, within, a 24-hour period. If you want to sit down and put in the work and do the research, you can get, what it's going to be very quickly. And then, through the one-on-one, what I help them do is establish the plan. How are we going to go out and do this, right? From the marketing to putting the product in front of your customer, and how are we going to track the income? How much do we need to make in order for this to make sense? And so when you put it out there for people to see very easy, clear metrics, it becomes much easier for them to get behind it and motivated to want to hit those goals, right? So that's where the goals come into play, because we've all heard the saying, right? Like, if you're not going anywhere, any road will take you there, right? And that's kind of the thing. So we want to put those goals down and track them, and that's how we help them stay motivated to go through that.
So what kind of side hustles are we talking about? Are there a few that really stand out that, apply to many people, or does it really come down to an individual choice?
Well, it's really going to come down to what your skills and your interests are at the end of the day, and it's going to be different for everyone. But there is one of the number one questions that I get is how can I start a side hustle for no investment? I have no money to invest. So when you start looking at side hustles along those lines, a really, really big one now is becoming a virtual assistant. and helping other people, whether it's organizing, creating Word documents, answering emails, posting on their social media for them. So that's something that's in high demand. You can put yourself on any freelance site and people will actually come to you looking for that service. Another one is being a social media manager. So, if you have a little bit of skill in social media and, you can post for a company and help them get recognition. There's no startup costs involved in that. And another really big one that people are doing is if you have a car, there's all kinds of delivery services now that are offering, opportunities, Uber Eats, Instacart. There's all these different options as far as, Skip the Dishes in Canada. So there's all these different options for you to go out and use your car as a vessel to make some money on the side as well. And those particular driving jobs, from what I hear, they're paying pretty well. I'm hearing, people making anywhere from $25 to $30 an hour plus tips doing this. So not a bad little side hustle for no investment.
Right, exactly. And those kinds of things, $25 to $30 an hour, if you're able to sustain that over a number of hours a day, that can be a full-time income for a lot of people.
Absolutely.
So if you don't have some of the tech skills maybe for a virtual assistant, which by the way are worth their weight in gold if you can find a good one. There's a lot of people, like you said, it's a high demand. We all need a virtual assistant because many times in business people try to do everything themselves, and having somebody there to help is really the key to grow. So virtual assistant is a great one. But if you don't have those online skills, what other jobs are there that you might be able to do other than driving?
Yeah. So, a lot of people, even just in their own home, will have a lot of things that are just sitting around and they don't even realize that there's value attached to those things. Some old furniture, furniture flipping is actually a pretty big side hustle going on right now. So you could start off selling, that couple pieces of furniture you have sitting in your home, relay that into money and start, purchasing other furniture and selling it for more money. And that's a big business that's going on right now, is people are purchasing furniture cheaply and then selling it for more somewhere else. And the same with cars, so there's options like that if you have a vehicle at home. It's interesting. I had a gentleman I was speaking to the other day, and he builds for himself and for his family, furniture like bookcases and all these great things. He made bed frames, and he's like, I just can't figure out what I'm going to do for a side hustle. And I was like, brother, you have an amazing skill here that people would pay, a lot of money to have you do these things for them. But because it was just such a hobby and such a personal thing to him, he just hadn't thought, that he could turn this into a side hustle. So some of the skills and the things that we have right in front of us that we're using every day, can be used to help us create extra money as well.
Mm. So what other misconceptions like that? People don't value the knowledge that they have sometimes and how they can maybe translate that into some kind of money maker. What other misconceptions do people have about the side hustle business or the gig economy?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things that I'm seeing now is, it's something that I'm coming across in a little bit later stages with some of my clients, is that, they're saying, I just didn't realize that I was going to have to treat this as such a business. Right. And I think there's almost this stigma attached to a side hustle that it's some fun thing that you do on the side. And that's where, the passion word can get a little dangerous, is because it's, it definitely is a business. You're an entrepreneur now, and you're working for yourself, and it's up to you to put in the work and the time and to find the answers and to be resourceful. And I think for some people, when they first get into that space, it's a little overwhelming for them, and they're like, whoa, what is all this? And so it's just an adjustment phase that people have to go through. But I think that's one of the big misconceptions. This is going to be a fun little thing that I do on the side, but there's work to be put in.
So a big problem that I see is people get into business and they might have a passion for whatever it is that they're doing. And they love, just like your example, the joiner, to create different furniture, and maybe as a hobby, that's what they love to do. But if they try and start it as a business, they quickly find out that instead of doing these things by themselves, if they want to be successful, they really need to be concentrating on the marketing part. How do you have that conversation with people?
Yeah, and it's a great point, Neil, because a lot of people don't understand that the marketing of the business is the business, right? So you can have the greatest product or service in the world, and if nobody knows that you have it, there's, it just doesn't translate. And, the example that I often refer to people is like, McDonald's is the most successful burger company on the planet today. And they had been for quite some time. But I think we could all agree that McDonald's does not produce the best burger. There are a lot of companies, some might argue all the companies that produce a better burger than McDonald's, but they're not selling as many burgers as McDonald's. And, that all has to do with marketing. And so you have to get what you're doing out in front of eyeballs. And it is the entire business is getting people to know about your business. So that's a great point. And basically, coming into this with the marketing background, that's a big part of the coaching. And there's some courses that I have that actually help people do that, because it's not a natural thing for, somebody who makes furniture in their garage to know how to market their product, but it is absolutely the most important thing.
So for those people that might be thinking, oh, I don't want to become a marketer, I just want to do the job or do the thing that I love, are there options there to where I can put myself in front of an audience of people and I don't really have to worry about where the next business is coming from?
Yeah, so these types of things, you can look for, it's kind of like a virtual assistant, right? You're going to look for a marketer to do that for you. And I truly believe that if you are in a position financially that you can, hire some people to take some things off your plate, you absolutely should do so. Russell Brunson, talks about this, who's a great mentor of mine, is the who, not the how, right? If you're trying to do all the hows in your business, you're going to stretch yourself pretty thin, and it's easy to get overwhelmed that way. Where, if marketing is not your thing and you're able to invest in it, you absolutely should get someone that is their thing, to help you do that. And, you're going to have far more success having an expert help you do that.
Okay, so tell me about the Side Hustle Creator. You're launching this new product. Break down, what is in it and what people are going to get out of it. Yeah,
so this is exactly what I was talking about earlier, the 7-step process to take people through how to choose the right side hustle for them, right? So they're going to go through, their goals, they're going to go through their skills, their interests, they're going to go through some research, filtering it through the 3 C's of control, creativity, contribution. They're going to then from there, get proof of concept and making the choice. And so in this course, it's an online course. It's got the 7 modules, and the whole thing is designed to help you go from feeling overwhelmed with all the ideas that are out there to actually, using the workbook that's included with the program and going through the step-by-step process to get clear on the right side hustle for you. And the best best part about this course is that I've made it so affordable that anybody can take advantage of it. And, the course itself is worth $147, but I'm launching this at only $17 for anyone to take advantage of, because I just really want to make an impact and help the most people possible.
Well, that's great. And just getting the clarity alone of what you should be focusing on and getting the mindset right, just like you were talking about, is that, if you've gone through the steps and saying, okay, this is the right opportunity for me, then you're more likely to actually go through with it and get the results that you're looking to get. Have you had people go through the program before and get results? Can you give us any examples of that?
Yeah, so I've had 2 people go through the product in beta mode with me. And so, yeah, both of them were able to get very clear. I just helped a young lady the other night, and she's starting her own ClickFunnels page design business. And so that's super exciting for her. And just going through the process and seeing her get really clear on her goals and, why those goals are important to her. I could just see the confidence in her and knowing that this is going to help her anchor and push through when things start to get a little bit tough and she faces some obstacles with her business.
Yeah, there's always going to be those obstacles that do come up, but having the tools at hand to be able to overcome some of these mindset things as well is extremely important. Rob, give us a bit of background into yourself. I know you've got some marketing background, but give us a little bit more of your story and why this side hustle project now is important to you.
Yeah, so it's interesting. Before I got into the martial arts field, I'd worked retail for many years. And I'd made my way into retail management and decent living, a lot of hours, a lot of days driving into work thinking, man, I wish I had made some different choices and, I'd be able to do some more things in life. And so, I can really relate to a lot of the feelings of not knowing, or not having a lot of other skills and not knowing how I could create more for myself in life. And what ended up happening is actually the company that I was working for went out of business. And I remember, I had a child coming. I didn't have a lot of other skills, and I just really remember that feeling of like, man, why didn't I make some different choices? Why didn't I have something going on the side? Why wasn't I prepared for this? Obviously everything ended up working out as it usually does. And I got into, working at the martial arts academy that I trained at actually, but, I can really relate to a lot of people that are wishing that they had more and that they could do more with their life, but maybe they're in a spot where they just don't know how, and they don't see any other options, and they haven't, they don't understand their own skills. And so for me to, be in a spot now where I could help some other people, go through those processes and create something in their life that's exciting for them and can really make a massive difference. That's kind of what it's all about. And all roads kind of have led to here for me. And so it's a super exciting time for me to be able to help others.
Well, that's great. And so many businesses are started just through somebody like yourself going through that process. Like many thousands, probably millions of people right now are having those same thoughts as they're driving to the work, or maybe they're unemployed, but they don't know what to do. And sometimes when somebody like yourself has gone through that whole process and said, if I had this in place, if I was sorted with this idea, I would have, transferred into this side hustle or this other gig much more quickly if I just had this outline. And that's what you're providing people now in your side hustle course. Yeah,
absolutely. It's all about that clarity and seeing, exactly what it is that you can do, and getting a plan in place to be able to do that.
Well, we really appreciate you doing that and making it available, especially for a low price, which will be enticing to a lot of people. They don't want to spend too much money that they don't have getting another business started up. Robert, if you could tell us where people can go to get that side hustle course, and as well, if people want to contact you, what's the best way for them to do that?
Yeah, so basically, the best way to contact me directly would be through email. And you can email me at rob@robertloganmarketing.com. And the course, my website is robertloganmarketing.com. The course is going to be launched officially next week. So that's going to be Monday, December the 14th. If you go to robertloganmarketing.com right now, you can click to get a free 7-step checklist on how to start your side hustle. So that would be a great way for you to get started this week. And again, that's a free checklist that you can get there. And you can also find me on Facebook. I have a business page, Robert Logan Marketing, and I also have a personal page. Feel free to shoot me a friend request. I'm happy to connect.
Well, great. There's certainly a lot to learn about picking that side hustle that's going to make you a little bit of money that you're going to be happy to do as well and continue with, and hopefully grow it into something bigger. Robert, we appreciate all your knowledge today, and thanks for sharing with us on the Trust Factor Radio.
Thanks for having me, Neil.
And to our listening audience, if you like what you hear, hit that like button, share, and we'll see you next time on the show.
You've been listening to the Trust Factor Radio with Neil Howe. To learn about the resources mentioned in the show and to listen to past episodes, go to thetrustfactorradio.com. To get a copy of the book, The Trust Factor, go to thetrustfactorbook.com. If you are ready to act now and build your authority, credibility, and trust, schedule a consultation with Neil at theauthorityarchitect.com.